Hi, my name is Cory Saucier. I'm Dr. George Gresham's Management 432 class at Jacksonville University. I'm going to do a brief summary um, and answer some questions for the case study at the end of Chapter 3 on the pharmaceutical industry. Um, Things to know about the pharmaceutical industry: it's extremely profitable. The average return on invested capital is a little under 16.5%, which is higher than both computer hardware and electronics industries combined. As of the 2000s, there was a slight decline in the industry. Now, this was despite strong demand, and there was anticipated future growth as of the printing of the book. Successful drugs like Lipitor generate a large amount of revenue for companies like Pfizer and AstraZeneca, and Zocor was another big drug that helped as well make these companies a lot of money. The book refers to them as blockbuster drugs, but Lipitor is definitely a very good example of it. That one made roughly $10 billion in profits as of the books being printed. A lot of the strength of these companies stems from the strong patent law, or the patents that allow them to monopolize these molecular structures for 20 years. There is a lot of risk still, though. In the pharmaceutical industry, it takes roughly 10 to 15 years and about $800 million on average to bring one drug to market. Only 1 out of 1,000 will ever make it to clinical trials, much less, make it to the phase where it is actually on the market, being so it's really a big deal that when a big drug like Lipitor can take such a large market share and generate as much revenue as it does, because that allows the company to fund further research and development for other new emerging drugs. One of the big positives for these companies is also the increased technology that they benefit from. It opens a lot of new horizons for these companies to kind of chip away at the market and find new ways to treat old illnesses, especially big ones like AIDS, cancer, heart attack, stroke. New therapies are a big opportunity for these companies. One big thing that these companies also had to contend with was around 2006 and 2009, when 12 of the 35 top-selling drugs lost their patent protection. This really did cause a huge influx of generic drugs to hit the market. I think a lot of the market share was also taken by these generics because of economic factors like the housing market collapse. There was other issues as well. I mean, there's things like examples that it was in the book about Vioxx and Bextra for COX2 inhibitors that had been approved by the FDA that were found to actually cause a greater risk of heart attack. So they were taken off the market premature to when their respective companies had projected them to maintain their market share, and as a result, this created some issues for them. Now, to answer the questions, I think I've pretty much answered all the questions in summarization of, but to be more specific, the first one was why I think they're so profitable historically, drawing the 5 forces model. As I mentioned, high barrier to entry by potential competitors. The strong patents keep the threat of substitutes very, very slim, especially when added to that high barrier to entry. as far as on the opposite end of the spectrum, the bargaining power of buyers is starting to grow. Um, Now, I mean, there are some rare cases, your Martin Shkreli cases and such, but by and large, a lot of attention has been shifted to the pharmaceutical industry uh, from the political spectrum, and this is definitely going to result in some changes. Um, Now, as far as supply chain pressure, I don't really see that they necessarily are a victim of that, unless you want to consider the research and development time part of their supply chain. There could be an argument made for that, but that is its own form of supply chain pressure. Second question is regarding the small decline in the post 2002 era, and I think a very big part of that just comes down to uh, increased technology is also has an increased cost associated with it. You're researching and developing new ways to treat things. I think this is also somewhat related to the fact that those drugs were reaching uh, their the phase where the patent protection was being lost. I think that uh, those factors really led, and then the housing market collapse, as I mentioned before, really caused generics to take and elbow their way in to large market share or a much larger market share of potential consumers. Um, this ultimately kind of shifted the balance a little bit in what the ratio of uh, revenues earned from the drugs on the market the um, to the amount of research that was done in order to develop them. The last question is regarding prospects for the future, opportunities and threats that I foresee. I really think that the enhanced technology is going to provide a lot of opportunities for pharmaceutical companies to generate new medications and new therapies at a far lower cost and at an increased rate. I think this is going to help to counter some of the threats generated by regulations and with regards to price cuts, regulations with regards to efficacy of drugs. I think this is, new technology really is the new horizon for them. I think that ultimately that's what's going to uh, play a very large role in the future of these industries. The more they adapt to greater and better technology, the more profitable likely they will be. Um, I think this is a very interesting subject, and I definitely would like to look into pharmaceutical companies a little more after having read this case study.